Hi everyone, welcome to the Tales of Terramir Doodle stream. It's our first stream like this. If you're new here, we typically do a campaign stream every other Wednesday. It's the Tales of Terramir campaign. It's a homebrew D&D game created by Wes Ford, our DM. So this is kind of out of the norm. This is our first non-campaign stream. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some of the doodles I have. I have some ideas for a sketch. So I'll show you guys some of that. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to do some of these fun little streams in between the games here and there. The plan is that we'll do like some doodles, maybe we'll do some games, maybe we'll do something else. Just something so that we can kind of like get out there, talk with the community, see what you guys think, and just have some fun. I believe that Wes, the DM, is going to be doing a game stream in a couple of weeks here, probably like after our next game. We'll see. But there's definitely more of this to come, so I hope you guys enjoy this kind of stuff. I like sketching, and I like these kind of fun streams, so it'll be a lot of fun. Hello, everyone. I see the chat. This is really interesting. This is my first time hosting a stream, so if it's a little awkward, I mean, that's why, you know why it is. Let's see. I see Zach and Wes, Musi. Thanks for joining, guys. Let me switch to the art. You can kind of see it in the bottom right. We got the Tales of Terramir logo with little doodles logo too. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna do some on-stream fixing. I am very new to OBS. Okay, we're all good now. So, welcome to Tales of Terramir Doodles. Like I said, my name's Hannah. I play Willa Kettlewhistle, a gem dragonborn, in our Tales of Terramir campaign. So if you recognize me from the campaign, that's who I am. Let me show you what I've been working on. If you were watching some of our Instagram and social media today, I think around like 4 or 5 o'clock, we posted a fun little snippet of what's to come during this stream. So I shared this screen here with the Tales of Terramir doodles. And then I believe all I did was kind of erase it to show this fun little scene of Sovemil eating a pig. So I promised to explain that in this stream, and I will. Yeah, you saw it, Zach? Awesome. So this is what I'm going to be working on today. Not just this in particular, but I'm hoping to kind of make like an animated video. That's kind of what I've been into lately, like animated story time videos. This one is going to be based off of our episode 18. So if you wanted to go look at it, it's episode 18 at 30 minutes and 45 seconds to about 33 minutes. I only know that because I have it up here. But it's a scene from one of our episodes where we're talking about bacon. Savi's got a bit of a Beast Boy vibes there. Yeah, I could see that with the green skin from Teen Titans. Yeah. Yeah, he does kind of look like that. Can imagine. I don't think Beast Boy would be eating animals, though. I feel like that he'd be really against that. Anyways, so this is from this episode 18 when Sovemil, we're about to go inside of the dungeon, which we've been in for about like the past 3 episodes, I believe. Sovemil brings out bacon for the team, so he's trying to like raise our spirits. Yeah, Beast Voice is canonically vegan. Right, yeah. That's what I remember about him too. I don't think I've ever seen him turn into a pig though. Maybe he has. At least not in like Teen Titans Go. Isn't that the animated version? I don't know. But so Sovemil is bringing out the bacon. So he's a sea elf. He doesn't really eat land animals. He's more of like a fish person. So throughout this season, throughout like this whole 21 episodes, I think is what we're at now, he's slowly been trying more land animals. So I believe he tried chicken first, eventually. And there was a whole thing with like chicken of the sea, and there's like a joke in there that happened. I don't really remember it. I'm sure everyone else does. Savi was a pescatarian until he met everyone else. Yeah, there you go. That is straight from Wes himself. So there's the truth in it. Chicken is the tuna of the land. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. So Sovemil has been trying chicken. And then I think he was like kind of open to the idea of trying other animals. Someone probably brought up bacon at some point, but he kind of brings bacon to the team like out of nowhere. He's like, hey, I brought some bacon. Like, let's all try it out for the first time. Or he's trying it for the first time. He wants the whole team to eat it with him and enjoy it. So that was kind of a fun bit. And I thought that that would probably be something fun to draw out. And the rest of the team also thought that it was a good one too. So I had went through that part of the video and I typed out the script and whatnot. So I have here, let me show you. I almost have drawn out like scene by scene what is happening. That's kind of how I like to do these story time things. So we'll start here. This is my version, I guess, of Sovemil. I kind of like to stick with like a fun animated style, slightly anime, slightly chibi, somewhere in between there. I'm definitely not a professional at illustrating, so if things look a little wonky, that's why. I just like to have fun with it. Reading through what everyone's saying. At the horse, it came up in the Where Anton episode. Yeah, when Anton turned into a werewolf, right? At the Horse Inn place. We ate a bunch of good food at that restaurant. I don't think we actually got to finish all of it because Anton... Yeah, Wereboar. Yeah. Dude, you got a good memory. Anton turned into a wereboar, and then we didn't get to finish all the food, so... Oh well. But I think, yeah, that's where the bacon was brought up. Wereboar. What? Anyways, going back to the drawing, we have Sovemil here. So I'll kind of go through all of the sketches that I have. So anything in blue is basically a sketch. Tonight I want to go through and do some like outlining with a darker color. And then maybe add some shading and some colors here and there. But the end goal is that we can put all these little images together and create a reel with it using the actual audio from episode 18. So I'll go through it really quick. I don't have all of it, but I say I have about like 2/3 of it. So this is Sovemil saying, before we get going, I wanted you all to know, I hope this increases you all's mood a bit. Maybe I should try a Sovemil accent. I don't think I could do it that well. All this Savi art is making me happy blush. Yay! I'm definitely wondering how everyone's going to feel when they see their own character. Because I know everyone in their mind has an idea about what they think their character should look like or what their character does look like versus like the actual art. And then now you have me drawing it, so who knows. Yugo Craft. Hello all. Hey Yugo, thanks for coming. We're doing a doodle stream today. So I'm creating basically like an animated Instagram reel, if you will, storyline animation of the bacon bit in episode 18 when Sovemil brings bacon for the whole team. So what I'd like to do is that in this next part, in the next piece of the drawing that I want to show, we have Sovemil just kind of like explaining. He's like, I hope this increases everyone's mood a bit. So instead of drawing out his character again, I kind of cheat a bit. And on the next layer, you can kind of see what I do here, is that I have him in almost his same pose, but his facial expression slightly changes, and you can see his arm is kind of reaching out to the side a little bit. Just makes it easy for me, and these are kind of like the in-between little pieces before we get to the good illustrations, is what I kind of like to think about it. It's not on the screen for too long, but it changes just enough that you could like keep the person kind of entertained, whoever's watching it. That's what I think. Nice art skills. Thanks, Hugo. I've been drawing for a long time now, probably like my whole life, but it's mostly just kind of been like a hobby and stuff. But whenever I get a chance to, I like to draw. And I've been getting into these illustrated or animated illustrations a bit more. So I'm actually hoping to upload a couple of fun videos here in a while, maybe in like a couple of months on my own channel. So not part of Tales of Terramir. But I'll definitely share that when I do. It's just kind of like some fun storyline videos. So I'll share that when it happens. Yes, please promote me. No, it's fine. I'll share it when I think we promoted some of our own stuff, like when we had started out on Tales of Terramir. So I think it's okay that we share our own things, but if there's a better way to let you guys know, then I'll do that. I'll talk with the team and see what everyone's comfortable with. All right, I just made visible this background scene. So I didn't want it to get too fancy with the background, so my thoughts are that they're in a forest. I think in this scene, they're like in this old ancient city where they're about to enter this like elvish dungeon. Wes, feel free to add any detail I missed there. I'm sure I missed some detail. But yeah, it's an abandoned city. I think there's a lot of like torn down buildings and whatnot. So I just decided to put more of like a forest scene, more generic forest scene for this. So you could see there's like a tree and there's like a stump in the background there. Let's see. So looking back at the script, Wes says you could see that off to the side, the scent reaches your nostrils. And then Sovemil says, fresh bacon. So we're going to zoom in on that line where he says fresh bacon. So again, this is just the sketch, but it's kind of what I was thinking, is that as soon as you hear fresh bacon, you see bacon on a stump. I'm just here to correct you. The ruins of Yelkunal. Yes. I have that written down in my notebook somewhere. I don't have my notebook with me, but I have like doodles and stuff in there. Maybe I'll share that someday, like on our Discord channel, if anyone's interested in seeing some of the doodles I make for the campaign. It helps me remember what happened. Getting back to Sovemil, he says, before we go in, I wanted to try pig with all of you for the first time. So Sovemil comes up with a little happy face, and I thought that it would make sense if we have a little pig face showing. It's kind of weird to show pig when you're about to eat a pig, but I mean, it's pig, right? So there's a pig face. The next line is Willa, that's my character. She says, "Aw, Savi." So kind of like just a happy face. Drawing a dragonborn character is really interesting. It almost makes it a little bit easier because they have this really interesting like rectangle shape. Let me draw out what I'm trying to say. That would probably be helpful. Let's see. So when I was drawing Willa, it was not too hard to draw her. I'm used to drawing like human faces, obviously. But for her face, it was Not too bad because she has kind of like this. Oh, that's not the right thing. Let me get the right brush up there. There we go. It's basically just like this. It's a rectangle, right? So that's kind of what I did to make that face shape look how it is. A snout, yes, a snout. A muzzle, I think I've heard muzzle before, maybe? I've also heard it as like a thing that you put on like an animal's mouth or face so that they don't bite other animals or people. I don't know. Willa smiling is adorable. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun drawing her. She's a fun character. She's been a really fun character to play too. Alright, so she says, "Aw, Savi." And then we have none other but Anton. So for Anton, I wanted to keep his kind of pose that he has in his official art. Let me bring that up here. I've been using them as reference. So there we go. There is Anton's official art. We used an amazing artist. She has crazy skills. I know that she's either linked somewhere on our Discord or somewhere on this Twitch page. We've mentioned her a couple of times before. She's really great. But I love how she drew Anton with kind of like his shoulder him looking over his shoulder. Kind of really sets the mood for his character. So I stuck with that same design. You can see the contrast and style there. I stuck with the same design for that. I like that. I wonder if Justin plays Anton's character. I wonder if Justin requested to have that kind of pose or if the artist did that on her own. I don't know. Elena Faye Art. Yes, that is the artist. She's amazing. We used her for a couple of different commissions for other campaigns too, and she's done a great job every single time. Let's see. So this is Anton. He says, "We're so happy for you." And then Sovemil comes back. He says, "I wanted to surprise you all." And then Mike, who plays Gemma, he does a fun little joke on the side. He said, "It's not even bacon strips, it's just a pig." And then Wes makes eating pig noises. That's kind of what I have written down in the script. So that is where this came from, if you guys are wondering. Like, why did I post this on social media? I thought this was the funniest scene in there. But yeah, Mike makes that joke that Sovemil didn't bring bacon strips, he just brought a whole pig. So, there is Sovemil eating a dead pig. Is that kind of morbid? I don't know. Maybe. I love seeing Anton's gruff pretty boy art reduced to a chibi style. Yes. I feel like it suits him. I feel like that's how Gemma sees him. Is like, yeah, he's gruff and everything, but at the end of the day, he's a really cool, nice guy to her. Let's see. Wes then says, takes a little bit strips of bacon. It's only a little bit. So this was just a simple, what could I put here? This is a really rough sketch. You can kind of see when I sketch, I do like really, really rough lines. I feel like it just helps me define the shape if I do it a couple times, if that makes sense. But this is supposed to be Sovemil's hand, like holding the bacon, giving it out. And then really sells a joke. Awesome. Willow's vision is just like the TF2 Pyro vision. I don't get that reference. Where everyone is cute and chibi and rainbows. Ah, okay. I get what you mean by that. Yeah, Willa is definitely definitely an optimistic person. And I think she'd rather be happy. She would like rather look on the good side of things even when it's going really bad. I guess that's a definition of optimistic. Who am I showing next? Here is Gemma. And I wanted to show her in comparison to Sovemil. So I wanted to make her... Gemma is younger. I think she's about 16. So you could see she's just a little bit shorter than Sovemil when you compare them. And she has a bit more of like a chubbier face in comparison to the other characters, just because she's younger. Let me hide Sovemil. So Gemma at this point says, hold on a second. Gemma will wave her hand across it and use her prestidigitation to warm it up a little bit so it gets all nice. So Gemma, that's kind of her exclaiming that she wants to do something. And then she holds out her hand. So again, I'm just kind of like using the existing design and the existing art and just adding it to it. So this is Gemma holding out her hand. And then we'll see the bacon kind of going on fire. So using the same image, it just has like a fire image on it. And maybe I'll kind of make it wave a little bit just by having two different frames go back and forth. So kind of cheating a little bit, but if you're watching this being played out, like if you're watching the video, it all kind of goes pretty quickly. So you're kind of keeping the person's attention. Sovemil says, oh, it's nice and warm. So in my head, I'm like, well, what would Sovemil be doing at this point? So I have him kind of like caressing the bacon to his face. Kind of like a cute side of Sovemil. I imagine he's like that for some reason. Let's see. And next we have, I think we're getting close to the end of what I've sketched so far. So I'll start sketching some more things. I'll start actually doodling. We have Anton, and he says something to Gemma. He says, oh no. Oh no. Let me lower this opacity so it looks decent. Anton keeps his pose with his shoulder back, and he says, getting, this is his voice, getting good at that, Gemma. That's kind of my, that wasn't very good. I feel like it would sound, getting good at that, Gemma. That's my Justin Anton impression. But he holds out his thumb, he's like, good job, Gemma. And Gemma kind of replies back. She's a little bit timid from what I've seen. And I don't know if mic is on, but if you feel like that's not right, let me know. But she's got like a little bit more... She kind of keeps to herself because, you know, she's worried about the magic and all that. And she's still young. So my idea is that she would be a little bit shy, kind of like scratching her head. She's like, yeah, not bad. It's a neat little trick. That's what Gemma says. We need Tales of Terramir chibi merch. Yes, that would be a lot of fun. I would totally be down to do that. I don't know, would they be like shirts? That's the first thing I think of when I think of merch. Shirts, sweaters. Ooh, stickers. I like stickers. Those would be fun to make. Let's see. So after Gemma says, yeah, not bad. It's a neat little trick. Sovemil says, cheers to bacon and cheers to adventure. I don't have all of that yet. I'm actually kind of thinking of like reusing some of them existing designs. And I think it'll work since, like I said, it's kind of going quickly. Should be fine. We have Anton. This is a really rough sketch. Or not, sorry. That's not Anton. That's Razik. We have Razik. A really rough sketch of Razik. And Rob plays Razik. Rob says, at this point, he says, Razik holds up his bacon triumphantly and toasts. So The idea here is that obviously like Razik's holding up his bacon and he's like very happy about it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Now I want to hear all the players try and do each other's voices. You know, that would be really interesting. I'm not sure. I feel like Anton is he's kind of got his thing going with like the gruff. Razik and Gemma would be a little bit more difficult in my opinion. But I definitely want to hear people do a Willa voice. I think all you have to do is like throw in a country twang. At least that's what I'm attempting. I don't know how good it is, but I try. A Freaky Friday episode, that would be a lot of fun. Pins, stickers, enamel pins. Those would be cute. I could see that. Hi, this is Athena. Hi, Athena. Thanks for joining. We're looking at some of the sketches that I've been working on for a part in the episode 18 that we did a while back where Sovemil, our sea elf, brings bacon for the group to enjoy. So everyone's kind of like savoring this bacon. They're really enjoying it. Raz is just Rob. Yeah, I think not everyone has to do voices when they do D&D characters. Whatever kind of comes naturally, right? Yeah. And Gemma's just Mike in a higher register. Yeah. All right. So we're coming up to the last couple of sketches I already have, and then I'll move on to start actually drawing. So here we have Sovemil. This is him tasting the bacon. So you kind of see his like chewing face. He's enjoying it. He has the bacon in his hand. Let me like put up the opacity a bit on that. He has the bacon in his hand, and Wes says at this point you could see Sovemil's eyes roll back in the back of his head. So I have 3 shots that are gonna like line up next to each other. This is the first one where he's just getting it in his mouth. The next one is like him, if you could see his eyes dilate a little bit, that's him realizing how good it is. And then the last one, which I still have to, this is going to be our first sketch that we work on, is him enjoying it. It's not where I want it to be yet, so yeah, I don't have any excuses. We're going to work on this right now and try to make this look a little bit better. Bacon. Yeah, bacon is good. I feel like I'm a little surprised. I don't know Sovemil's background. I don't think we've learned that yet. So my guess is he went my backstory in my head, or maybe Willa's head too, is like he went straight from the ocean to where we met. Like that's been his life. His whole life has been in the ocean, and now he's on land. And that's why he's never tried bacon or chicken or anything. Like, it's all kind of new for him. That's my guess. We'll have to definitely learn some more Sovemil backstory as we go along. I don't know if that's just me forgetting it, or has Sovemil shared his backstory? Does anyone know? I'm not really sure. Let me make sure I have the right pen here. If anyone's wondering, I'm using Procreate on an iPad. I have an Apple Pencil. You could see. Let me get fancy and change my screens. Ha, there we go. It's my iPad Pencil. This is actually one of the older ones. I've had this for a couple of years now. It has like the whole charging thing on the back of it. It's really a bad design. They've upgraded it since then, so it doesn't have this on there. But it works just fine. You can actually, the harder you press with it, particularly in Procreate, and I know other applications do it too, the harder the line will be. So I'll show you guys that. So you can kind of see. This is me drawing lightly, and this is me kind of pressing down much harder. So the Apple Pencil is really nice. I know the newer one is even nicer. So if you're thinking about getting one, I and you like to draw a lot, I definitely recommend it. All right, let's fix Sovemil's face. What was Apple thinking with that? I know. I am so surprised that I haven't lost this little piece yet. It's pretty insane. I'm gonna redraw his eyebrows here. Kind of have these guiding lines that are showing which direction he's looking in. So you can kind of see he was looking in this direction while he was trying the bacon. And now he's kind of like looking up, really enjoying. And I wanted to make it so he's crying even. So it's very exaggerated. That's what I feel like anime chibi style does with expressions. And it kind of helps you understand really well how that person is feeling. So that looks about right for some eyebrows. Let's redraw the eyes a bit too. So we have the eyes kind of appearing here. His eyes, as Wes explains it in the episode, is that his eyes roll back in the back of his head. So I think we'll have his eyebrows kind of, or the top of his eyelid kind of like that. Usually, and you can see in the background here, his eyes are kind of resting in the middle of his eyeball. So if I were to draw his entire eyeball, it would look like that. But for this, we'll kind of have half of his eyeball sticking out. So we kind of get the idea that the other half of his eyeball is literally in the back of his head. That kind of helps, I think, to make the expression hit home a bit more. Let's see, what's everyone saying? It looks so dumb when you're charging it. Yeah, it definitely does. There was a dongle that came with this pencil. I've lost it since then. And I literally just stick it into the bottom of the iPad and it sticks out, and it's actually kind of dangerous. I'm surprised I haven't broken it yet. I'm surprised the end just hasn't snapped off. We'll try. I literally just said what you just said. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for his other eyeball. And bear with me. Like I said, I'm not a professional at this, so it might take several times to get this just right, or to a point where I'm like happy with it at least. And these are just the sketches, so I do plan to go back over with like a black color and to draw some like smoother lines. I'll show that here probably like after like an hour. And like that. Okay. And now we want to draw some tears, which I think like when I look at anime and stuff, it's like usually these bubbles under the eyes, and then this is just him full on crying from happiness. The sketch, it looks a little strange, but I'm going to probably color that in a bit. We have his nose here. Let's redo his mouth a bit. I'm going to try a couple of different styles. So we have like this kind of happy. Looks a little strange. We have this kind of happy. I kind of like this one. He's almost making like an oh face. If that makes sense. Yeah. I think we're going to go with this one. It's almost kind of like a cat face, because like a cat is kind of like this, right? It has a little bit of that style in there. Make him look like an animal a bit? I'm not sure. There's his tongue, kind of. I think we'll go without teeth. For some reason, I feel like you can have teeth and you cannot have teeth, and either way, it looks fine. I think your work is good, better than my sticker. Oh, thanks, Hugo. I really appreciate that. I've really been trying to like get better at this over the years. I think it just takes a lot of practice, obviously, and sometimes I just don't have the time for that. But the iPad does make it easier. Like when I used to draw growing up, like paper and pencil, that was hard. I can't imagine going back to that. I have tried it a couple of times, and I end up trying to like press the back button or undo button on paper, and then I just give up. I don't think I've drawn on paper for years now because it's just so inconvenient. And I make a lot of mistakes when I draw, and it doesn't really help with all the mistakes. So, Need like an angel choir noise playing with the tears and O face. Oh, that's a really good idea. I can definitely add in audio effects, so maybe I'll do that. I think I'm happy with that face. Let's draw his hair. His hair is kind of... Let's draw his ear, because that's going to help me understand where his face, or sorry, his hair should go. I think with this... I'm doing a lot of guesswork here, and actually, he has an elf ear, doesn't he? So his face is kind of up a little bit, and you can see faded in the background. That's where his ear originally was right here. Oops, that was horrible. So now that he's looking up, you can imagine like a sphere kind of turning up, right? So I think his ear would be back a little bit based on that. So there we go. That makes sense to me. We got the rest of his head, so let's draw his hair. Sovemil kind of has like slick, drawn back hair. I wonder if he gels his hair. I feel like he would. He seems pretty fancy to me. Does anyone else think that? He seems like a pretty fancy guy. And again, we don't know his backstory, so I kind of wonder if he's like nobility or something. I feel like that it doesn't look right. Let's see. There we go. Sovemil does have a nice jawline, so we can exaggerate it a bit, and then you can see the face is kind of elongated to make room for his mouth. I think that's okay. It's just always somehow fresh from the pool hair. Yeah, it is. He must have to... I wonder if sea elves... I don't know their background that well, or those type of characters that well. I think they have to keep... I'm trying to find the right word without sounding strange here. I think they have to put water on themselves once in a while. Magic or something. It might be magic. I wonder if Sovemil likes sushi. I feel like he must, right? Let's see. That looks good. Kind of have his hair. And then he has like a little couple of like baby hairs sticking out at the bottom. At least according to his artwork. So now that we have his face kind of drawn out, his arm in the previous shot is kind of holding the bacon like this. So if he were to put his head back, I tend to like put myself in these poses to kind of determine what the character should look like. Let's see, maybe he has his arms out a bit. So we'll do some fun little quick sketches here and see what works nicely. Maybe he's holding up the bacon and pointing at it with his other hand. Something like that. We got his arm over here. So, arms are strange. Drawing them is not easy. So I try to think of them as like two chunks. You got like your top chunk and then your bottom chunk. And they kind of have to play together nicely. And then hands are like a whole other thing. They're not easy to draw at all. So there's the bacon. There's him holding it. Maybe he's kind of like holding out the bacon a bit. Like, what an amazing thing. Like, oh. So obviously this kind of shifts around the rest of what he's doing. Oops. So let's kind of fix that up so that when I get to the line art, that it's easy to draw all of it out instead of playing guesswork, because that's when it gets hard, is that if you didn't do the sketch right, then it just messes everything up. He does have this like interesting shell piece right here. I'm not gonna move that. I think that that's fine where it is. I do think that the belt that he wears across his chest probably moves just a little bit. So we can show that happening. And then he has a arm piece? No, what is it called? He has like a piece of armor for his shoulder. Shoulder armor? That's probably what it's called. I think it's metal shoulder armor. So that would shift a little bit since his arm is moving from this static position here to more of like this bent position. And we'll draw the rest of his arm. Again, this is just a really quick drawing of it. And then he has these gloves on. So I'll keep that in there too. This looks a little strange for some reason. I swear, sketching is like trial and error all the time. Seeing if something works or not. Then if you're really fancy, you'll, and not, by really fancy, I mean like an actual artist, you'll kind of move things back and forth to test and see if it looks good. So, let me show you what I mean by that. I know most people who are artists, they'll take their canvas and then they'll flip it to see if it still looks good from the other angle, and that kind of tells you whether or not you're doing it right. Because sometimes you're stuck at like the angle that you're at, that's seeing it from a different one just makes more sense. And I think this is actually okay. That's I didn't expect that, but yeah, it looks fine to me. Yeah. In fact, let's play around with moving his face back a little more. So I'm going to outline it here with this, what is this called? Magic tool. So I've selected the face. I'm going to just crank it back a little bit and see what happens. Whether it works or not. I think it does. I think it does. I think it exaggerates his feelings about this bacon a lot more. The shoulder bit is called a pauldron. Okay. I think I've heard that before, but it's something that I don't use. It's a word that I don't use like in everyday life. But yeah, good word. Or sometimes a spalder. Huh. Interesting. All right. It's a pauldron or a spalder. Good to know. So I think this is good. I'm going to keep his lower body the same. I don't think it's something that people are going to notice. They're going to be really focused on the face when they see this scene in particular. It just kind of makes it easier for me. So we're going to give this the okay. He has his tears there. He's looking up. He's happy. He's having a great day. So let's create a new frame and let's see what's next. So after Sovemil tries the bacon, his eyes go in the back of his head. He says, "Oh my God." And then Gemma says, "We don't have to go into the thing, Sovemil. We could just go get more bacon if you want." So what I have written down for the visual for this, and like I think I mentioned it before, I have like a script where I wrote down what everyone's saying, and then on the side I kind of have like what I think I can show for each scene. I have Gemma shrugging and then pointing backwards. So she says, we don't have to go in. We could just stay here or go get some more bacon. So let's start with, this is Gemma's kind of like baseline visual. So this is what I'll start with. And then I'll add to it on top of that on my new layer. Yep. So Gemma would be shrugging at this point. So there's actually quite a bit to consider here for Gemma because she's wearing kind of like this, if you could see it, she's wearing like a scarf cape sort of thing. If you were to see the back of her, it kind of looks like that. So every time she moves her arms or her shoulders, it kind of adjusts that scarf up and down. So let's put her in a shrugging position, so something like this. Yeah. So just testing out how I feel. It doesn't seem like the shoulders go up too far. They kind of stay down and the hands are out. So should be pretty simple. Let's draw that first one, and then we have the second one. Then we have the hand coming out. In fact, I think we could do it with just the one hand. I don't think she needs to be shrugging with both of her shoulders in this. So to sheet it a bit, I think her right arm will stay the same, so I'm not going to draw that out too much. And then for her scarf cape, it'll just come down a bit more. It might even stay the same too. We could even keep her same expression, maybe even just make her like smile a bit. And then let's look at the clothing she has on. So she's wearing, what is Gemma wearing? Let's bring up her picture. This is her real art. She's wearing a shirt underneath her like leather dress. So it looks like her shirt comes up to her forearms here. Oops, up to her forearms right here. And then she has like a really intricate glove that covers most of her hand and bottom arm. So I'm going to draw that out a bit. So there's her shirt. It kind of ends there. It looks like she's got it folded here. So there's the shirt. We can make the crinkles or not. This isn't really supposed to be an intricate design. It's more just gonna be fun. A tunic, yeah. Yeah, that's a good word. Tunic. I'm learning all of these D&D-esque terms for, or not even D&D-esque, like more medieval proper terms for clothing. So we got a pauldron, we got a spalder, we have a tunic. I will probably not remember any of them because I have a pigeon brain. And then we have her glove. Hands, like I mentioned before, are really hard. That's the general direction that it'll be going, but let's give it a little bit more shape. Usually I try to like figure out the fingers a bit better. And actually that's very flat for a hand. I think typically people don't make their hands that flat. Just make everyone wear mittens. Oh man. If I could, I would. I used to draw, when I used to draw people a lot, I would just have their hands behind their backs or like just in fists like on their waist. So I wouldn't have to deal with the hands. Yeah, it just makes it so much easier. Typically, I try not to bring too much details to the hands because that's when it starts to look strange, I feel like. So I learned a couple of just general visuals for hands and then just go with that. Usually it just kind of works. That's not how you should do it. You should probably, like, if you want to be a good illustrator or drawer or artist or whatever, you should probably practice hands a lot. That's the proper way to do it. Let's see, what is she wearing? The gloves, they're half gloves. Okay, that makes it interesting. So they kind of have like this kind of thing going on. Reminds me of Ash from Pokemon. I think he has like half finger gloves that he's wearing in most of the series. Which, by the way, I think he's been retired from Pokemon. I think he like officially won everything. So, oh, sorry, spoilers if you're keeping up with the Pokemon fandom. But yeah, I think he's retired. And the new season is going to feature like a whole new set of characters for the main characters. So, pretty sure they've like announced all of that already. So, like the visuals for the new characters and whatnot. Her glove is very intricate. I'm just going to draw a couple of lines just to get the idea across. Sorry, Mike, if you're watching this, that I'm not going into detail on her gloves here, but we got the idea, right? Yeah, I think that's fine. That even might be too much. And actually, the hand looks a little strange. You know what? It is what it is. Thankfully, these are like going to be animated, so it won't be on stream too long. I think what's bothering me here is this little hump. But, yeah, hands are not easy. Maybe I'll get the fingers up a little bit more. We'll fix that in post. How about that? Keep it as it is for now, so we can move on. Hands are very difficult. Yeah, they are. They're not easy at all. Like, it's easy if you go for more of an easier style. Like, I'll do like a kind of like this style sometimes, and then, you know, like that's the style for it. So it's like, okay, whatever. But when you're trying to do something more realistic looking, that's when it gets pretty difficult. When I was younger, I just do circles for hands and keep the whole thing. Yeah, or skip the whole thing. Yeah, I used to do that too, like little hands. They look like little fists. All right. So she says we don't have to go into the thing, Sovemil. We could just go get more bacon if you want. So this is her shrugging, and then she points backwards as if to say, let's literally go home. Which, you know, now that I see how far we've made it, how difficult the dungeon has been, I kind of question whether we should have gone back. It hasn't been easy. I'm not the best at puzzles though, so that's probably part of the problem. But I think we've been doing okay. We've been getting through everything. It's just we've been having a lot of intricate discussion about it every time we go through something. I blame the water level. Yeah, the water level was not easy. That wasn't easy because as soon as the water started rising and we had to start swimming, and we all sucked at swimming except for Sovemil. Yeah, that was the problem there. That was a big problem. I'm really interested about the sand level too. I definitely want to go back. There's like supposedly treasure in a back room in that sand room somewhere. So hopefully if we make it to the front, we'll be able to get out of there and turn off the sand and be able to go get that treasure. If it is a treasure. It might not even be a treasure. It might just be a trap. Who knows? Who knows what the DM has planned for us. Alright, so this is her kind of being like, oh yeah, we could just head back. So she has her thumb pointing out. Again, fists are a little bit easier. So there we got the hand. Oh, that was too much detail. And let's just draw her garments really quick. Her glove with all the intricacies. There we go. And then let's show her cape scarf kind of interacting with her new position. So it kind of stretches the scarf out a little bit. Looks like my screen went a little bit dark. Can you guys still see that well? Let me know if it looks weird. So we have her arm kind of coming back. It's going to connect to her body. And she kind of has a bit of a looser garment, so maybe it's... does that look good? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe it's kind of... Maybe it's not. Because that just makes it look weird. We'll just have the garment coming back. Then we can like add in some lines for clothing. I'll leave that as is, and then everything else will be the same. Actually, I do want to have her smirking here, so because Gemma is making a joke. She's like, we could just go get more bacon if you want, so let's have her kind of like smirk a little bit when she's saying that. Oh, that is way too high of a smirk. I imagine Gemma smirks like that. And then maybe her eyebrows lower just a little bit, because it's kind of like a devious joke, at least in my mind. And I think her eyes will stay the same and her nose will stay the same. So we'll leave all of that. She has a little smirk going on. She has her hand going back. Ooh, let's do the half fingies. There we go. Boom, done. Brightness didn't change in the stream. Cool, thanks, Zach. I'm glad it all looks good. All right, so we have Gemma done. And then Sovemil says, this bacon's amazing. Let's see what we have, because maybe we can just use something that's already there. And if you guys are wondering, here's the entire screen. So this is meant for social media. So it's going to go on Instagram. Maybe it'll go on YouTube. We'll see. But I do have this line down here. And I'll kind of explain that a bit. So I have this line down here kind of indicating where all the social media stuff is going to go. So basically I'm not drawing below this line in order to make sure like everyone can see everything. Because if you think of like Instagram, you have like the person's user profile picture and their name, and then you have like the music that's happening, and then you have like several buttons on the side. So this is just like making sure that nothing important ends up there. So it kind of helps me. I don't have to draw the whole body, so that's why most of these people are like half a body for the most part. Anyways, Sovemil. Sovemil is saying this bacon's amazing, and I have written out that he is going to be smiling. I think that we have that already. We can probably use... I don't know if... Well, maybe we'll use this again. I don't know. So I'm gonna skip doing that one for now, because we have something that kind of works. After that, Gemma says, you should try it with other meats too. It's amazing. So let's get another sketch of Gemma in there. Let me find her base sketch. Here we go. There's her base sketch. And I kind of go in order here in the layers. So the bottom is like the beginning of the video, and then the top is the end of the video. Gemma says you should try it too with other meats. So I've written down Gemma's explaining, her eyes are closed, she's smiling, and she kind of like pointing a finger out like she's telling him what's what. So let's have her, we'll start with the face here. We'll have her kind of like eyes closed, happily, because she's really happy that Sovemil is enjoying the bacon for his first time ever. We'll lower the eyebrows here, so they're not doing too much expressing. It's not really a crazy expression going on here. And then bring her arm out again. Oh. And have her kind of point with her finger. Like a matter of fact. Matter of factly. There's the fingers and there's kind of the thumb going in. This one has always been a little bit easier for me, I think because I've done it so often. At least just for like general positioning of the hand. So you can kind of see how that looks now. She's smiling and she's pointing and explaining. We'll have the arm going down like so. We have the glove. Boom, boom, boom. There's the details. And then I believe her tunic comes down a bit further, so this is kind of interesting. We'll kind of show it around there. I think that'll work out. I don't think her scarf cape really does too much changing either. So there's her. The next part is Sovemil saying, "Oh, what? You can do that? That's amazing." I feel like that was a pretty good Sovemil. Let's find him. Where are you, Sovemil? There you are. So let's do like a generic surprise, kind of like wonder. He had never really thought about putting bacon with everything else. It's kind of new to him. So I'm actually not going to draw too much here. He'll just kind of be like, wow, just like typical, oh, what? He's very surprised. Actually, let me see what else we have. Okay. We're going to make him have star eyes. This is how I usually do it. And then when I go back into the outline, I'm going to get rid of all the lines in between the stars. I think that'll be good. His eyebrows are super far up. And then his nose. How does that feel? Do we need that? I feel like his eyebrows were too far. If I wanted to go crazy, I could put his kind of like his hands on his face, like he's like super surprised about this. Let's try that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the hands because I know exactly where those should go. Let's see, his thumbs would be on that side. So we start with mittens. And then we take it into a... We'll start to grow out the arms from there. I'm going to adjust his face a little bit. So we have the first part of his arm. And the second part kind of have to be like that. So he's kind of, his shoulders are way up there. So he does adjust his shoulders quite a bit for this. That's okay. Here's the first part of his arm. And the second part. Something like that. And then we'll have the rest of his body coming down. Again, I'm not going to change too much with that. I think it looks okay. It looks alright. There's his... Oh, I forgot this word already. What is it? Help me. Spalder. His pauldron. There's his pauldrons. There's his pauldrons on the side. Looks good. Looks good. And then we have his gloves. I believe that he has empty hands. I'm gonna have to double check that. And then here's his fingers. They look a little cartoony, but we'll just stick with it. That's fine. All right. There's Sovemil being surprised. Gemma says bacon wrapped chicken, stuff like that. It's insane. So for this, I was thinking of drawing bacon wrapped chicken. I actually had some bacon wrapped chicken this weekend. I'm gonna look up a picture of bacon wrapped chicken because off the top of my head, it's literally just like a circle with bacon around it. Okay, yeah. Maybe we'll throw a toothpick in there. Let's do that. So here is, let's find the center. There's about the center. I'm going to draw like 3 pieces of it so it's not just one piece of bacon wrapped chicken. They're kind of like cylinder shapes. So we'll do that. Like so. I'm just going to do a generic bacon. There we go. There's the bacon. And I mean, chicken doesn't really have a form cut up in this way. So maybe I'll have to do some coloring with this to make this stand out more. And then let's do a toothpick coming out of the top and bottom. Yeah. So there we have it. Bacon wrapped chicken. I wonder if people remember their first time having bacon. I feel like I had it so young that I don't remember it. I imagine that YouTube has videos of people trying bacon for their first time ever. They probably have the same reaction as Sovemil did. Just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Alright, there we go. If I was to draw the rest of this, that toothpick would be about there, so I guess we could show the bottom of that toothpick a bit. There. Bacon wrapped chicken. So Gemma says, let me go through this. Gemma says you should try it with other meats too. It's amazing. Sovemil says, oh, what? You can do that? That's amazing. Gemma says bacon wrapped chicken, stuff like that. It's insane. And then Sovemil says, bacon on chicken? I don't know what kind of accent Sovemil has, but I feel like I'm getting it a little bit. So Sovemil says, bacon on chicken? So I have written down for the visual a pig on a chicken. So we're going to literally draw a pig. I'm going to steal that pig from that other portion. So this here. And yeah, we'll use that. Why not, right? Let's duplicate that. There we go. We got a pig. Let me move it up to the correct layer so that I'm tracking everything correctly. I'll hide this one. So he says bacon on chicken. So we have a pig. Let's draw a chicken. I think my favorite animals, farm animal drawings that I like to follow are the ones from like Harvest Moon. If anyone's played that game before. It's pretty, I think it's kind of where like Stardew Valley, which is a lot more popular, kind of got its inspiration from. I feel like I've read somewhere that the creator of Stardew Valley played Harvest Moon. So maybe that's true. I don't know. But yeah, I like how the Harvest Moon visuals look. I think the actual Harvest Moon original creators are called Story of Seasons. They call their game Story of Seasons now. And that's because they like had a falling out with the American company who would create the game for them in the States. That looks like a chicken, right? Give it some feet. Boom, we got a chicken. So I think I'll just show a bacon and a chicken for this scene. Sovemil says bacon on chicken, so it makes sense to me. I think the crude visual kind of shows like how new he is to all of like this land animal stuff. So that kind of works well. Let's see, Razik says next. This is Razik's second line. He actually didn't say too much during this conversation. He says, you could put bacon on anything. Ooh, screen went dark. Uh-oh. All right, this is actually a good time for a break. Let me change screens here. There we go. So this is a good time for a break. My screen isn't working for some reason. So I'm gonna go get that working and then I'll be back, get some water and do all that stuff. So stay tuned. I'll be back in about 5 minutes or however long it takes to fix my screen. I'm new to this stuff, so hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I'll see you guys soon. Hey everyone, we're back. It looks like the iPad screen is working, so all good to go. That worked out. So where do we leave off? We're at the end of towards the end of the sketches here. Yes, it's working. Thanks, Muzi. This is the first time with this kind of setup, so it's a little bit of figuring it out on the go, but I think so far it's been good, so that's good. All right, so we just drew a pig on a chicken, which saying like randomly sounds very strange. And we have 3 more lines left. We have Razik saying you could put bacon on anything. So again, like the scene that we're drawing is supposed to be an animated scene. Probably gonna turn it into like an Instagram reel or put it on YouTube or something like that. But the idea is that it's from our episode 18 of Tales of Terramir, and in the scene, Sovemil, our sea elf, is sharing bacon with everybody. And this is the first time he's ever had a bacon. So it's a fun little scene, like I mentioned. And I think once it plays out, it's like a minute or two long. It's actually really fun to listen to, and then seeing it with the artwork, I think will make it even more interesting. So it's something that I thought was a good little snippet to share with everybody, and then something the team also liked too. So when I say team, I mean like our D&D team. Yeah, let's change the art scene. Let's start drawing again. We're going to draw Razik saying you can put bacon on anything. They're talking about like what's happening is everyone's saying like what they could do with bacon. Because Gemma brings it up. Gemma is she a sorcerer? I think she's a sorcerer. I don't know this. She does magic unintentionally. I feel like that's a sorcerer. I'm not a D&D expert. She says, you should try it with other meats too. It's amazing. So Sovemil's like, oh, what? You can do that? That's amazing. And then Gemma says, bacon wrapped chicken, stuff like that. It's insane. Sovemil exclaims, bacon on chicken. And then Razik says, you could put bacon on anything. So let's switch to the art scene. This is where we left off. We have bacon on chicken. So literally a pig on a chicken. Makes sense to me. Let's draw Razik saying you can put bacon on anything. I only have one visual of Razik so far. I believe this is his second line in this. And it is very much of a rough sketch. I had a hard time with this, drawing this the other day. This pose in particular and just getting all of Razik's details were pretty intense. Here's a look at Razik himself. So this is our actual art. This is the one that we got commissioned. So Razik is from, I want to say it's called Pangina. Ooh, I don't remember. I think it's something along Pangi something. Anyways, he's not from the continent that the rest of us are from. So I think because of that, he acts a little bit differently. He looks a little bit different. But yeah, he has a little bit of an interesting style going on. He has like this red scarf with little frills, long frills at the end. And he has his psychic blades that he summons. But let's draw Razik smirking and with his arms crossed. So that's kind of how I imagine he would say you can put bacon on anything. Like, just kind of being coy about it, maybe? Would that be the right way to say it? And if you're interested in seeing where I'm getting all of this from, it's from episode 18. We have our episodes up on YouTube, so you can watch it from there. I'll even give you the time marker. Let's see. 30 minutes and 45 seconds. This is when all of this bacon shenanigan happens. Alright. So here's Razik. Let's get his arms crossed. It's going to be kind of hard to use anything from this existing pose because it's such a specific pose. So I'm actually going to leave his visual on screen so I can reference that. And let's get into it. So we'll start with his head. And again, these are just the sketches right now. I'm going to go through some outlining here in a minute. Maybe after we do this Razik one, either I'll get to a good spot or I'll give up. And then we'll do some outlining. That'll be a little bit easier. I feel like Razik is a little bit, like his character is a little bit almost like coy, devilish in like a funny way. So maybe he has that like little fang sticking out. Let's leave it there for now and see how it looks. Whoa. Got his eyes going on. I feel like he has a very serious look on his face. At least in his artwork. So let's kind of draw him like that. With some serious eyebrows. Kind of pointed, slanted downwards. Let's see what he might look like with kind of half-closed eyes. Kind of gives away the idea that, like, he doesn't really care what anyone thinks. He's gonna just say whatever he wants to say. And his ear looks a little bit too low there, so let's bring it up. I'll have to get everyone's on the team. Like, I'll have to ask everyone on the team and see what their thoughts are on these designs once it's finished. I'd love to help make merch. That's kind of what we talked about, what some people had mentioned earlier in the chat. I think it'd be really cool to see these designs on merch. Even if it's just for ourselves. Kind of like represent ourselves, like have like team jerseys or something. That'd be fun. I wonder if we got team jerseys though. We might have to wear that to. We might end up like having to wear that to make it to every episode to kind of make it worth our while. You know what? That looks a little too smooth. Razik's hair is kind of curly at the end. So let's give it a little bit of a... Oh, there we go. Curl. Done. So this is kind of his hairline, I imagine. Yeah, actually this seems too low. Delete. So there's his hairline, right? Kind of matches up with like the way his face is going. If we did look at it as like a 3D shape, which usually like helps me quite a bit. There we go. So there's the 3D shape. Let's get in his little bangs. Just looking at what he has. His bangs are pretty long and they're also like kind of curly at the end. Actually, if you were to color his hair black, he would look pretty similar to Anton's hair. Oh, and I see Wes, our DM, he wrote Pangenan. Pangenan, yes, that's what I was trying to say. Secretive Nation on Galatalan. Yeah, we don't know much about them. We've met someone named, or not named, but we called him like Yellow Jacket Man. That's what I believe he was called. He was very secretive. He ended up taking our sphere or orb or whatever it was that we had found. That was kind of sad. I kind of wanted to hold on to it, but I also didn't want to like cause trouble. And when I say I mean Willa. I wanted to hold on to it, but I didn't want to cause any trouble for Razik. And it didn't seem like it was going to do any good just like sitting in our hands. Because we didn't really have any particular plans for it. But I believe the idea right now, like once we get past this dungeon and like make it back into wherever we're heading to. Make it back onto the road. When we get away from the guys that were chasing Anton, that we're making it to the kingdom of Korur, where we may find another orb, because the map that we had said that there might be one there. Like it was circled on like an adventure treasure map. So hopefully we do find something there. And by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen all of our episodes. But if you haven't, you should go watch it. They're actually a lot of fun. We put in a lot of effort to make sure that it's fun, and I believe that Wes, our DM, has been working on all of this since he was like in high school, maybe middle school. Because it's a homebrew thing. So, oops. Let's see. Razek is smirking with his arms crossed. Let's lower this stuff then. Alright, there we go. So Razek, if you could see, he has like this black tunic on underneath his red scarf. Sorry, black jacket on underneath his red scarf and then a white tunic on underneath it. So, but I learned over the years that you have to really pay attention to what your character is wearing, or else once you get to outlining things, you're kind of out of luck. And try to make sure that everything looks correct. I'm going to exaggerate the size of his pauldron here, which overlaps his scarf. There we go. And let's just draw a general guide for his shoulders, because he's kind of like, he's smirking, arms crossed, so kind of like got like this kind of thing going on. So there's his forearm, there's the top of his arm. That looks a little short, so we'll bring it down just a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better. The same would be happening for this arm too, so let's go like that. And this is, wow, this is very sketchy. This is kind of difficult doing this arm cross thing. I have to like think about where the hands go, where the arms go. I think this hand will go in. So that means that it is overlapping the other arm. Yeah, so let's erase the arm on the bottom. It's like doing math in your brain, trying to figure out where everything needs to go. And then this hand is on top. So kind of got like a paw going there. That's okay. And then that's about it. Let's erase this. His pauldron is actually kind of off balance there. So let's move it back. We kind of follow the flow of his arm a bit more. So it still kind of sticks out, but the at least like a 2/3 of it should be on top of it. So that looks better to me. He does not seem to have another pauldron on his left side, so we're going to keep that side empty. Keep space for the scarf he's wearing. There we go. He actually has like a really chunky scarf. And now that I say that, I wonder what the weather is like right now in Terramir. I don't remember if we've talked about it too often recently. I don't want to say it's summer. Maybe it must be good weather. If he's wearing a scarf like this, it has to be good weather. Or Pangina, wherever he comes from, is maybe it's a hot continent, so this like summer on our continent is a little bit more okay for him. Wow, okay, that kind of like overhooks his shoulder way too much. Let's bring it back. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. So I'm gonna just drag this over with that tool. Figure that out in the final. And then just kind of draw some lines. This kind of just represents that it's a really chunky scarf and it's got like layers and whatnot. So here's Razek smirking. He has a lot of layers for his scarf. So that's going to be a little bit difficult. Let's get his hands sorted here. He has like a little brace, a leather brace that he wears. So we'll keep that like that. Keep that arm there. We can't see the rest of this back here. That's good. Oh, and he has this little piece sticking out under his pauldron. All right. he is wearing a jacket. So let's get his jacket under there. And then, like I said, this line here kind of represents where the like bottom portion of Instagram / YouTube shows all their information. So we're gonna have that covered. And then actually I'm gonna make like chat bubbles and put the text of what everyone's saying in there. So it'll cover quite a good portion of the bottom there. So I'm not too worried about what's gonna appear down there. I'm not kind of planning to show anything down there at all. It kind of works out. I know he has a belt here. I'm not going to draw it because he's wearing a lot of belts. Look at this. He's got like a belt here in the middle. You get one belt, Razik. Rob, if you ever watch this and you want more belts, let me know. There we go. He's got a shirt or tunic, and then he's got pants. We'll kind of keep him at his wide stance that he had in the one where he's like holding up bacon. It's kind of like showing in the background here. Let me show you guys again. That's this one here. A lot more sketchy than the one that I'm working on now, but there's him. He's holding up bacon. That's his first stance. Then Razik makes his second appearance when he says that bacon can be put on anything. So, awesome. There's Razik. Alright. We have two more lines. So we have Sovemil saying, what? Oh, okay. Well, that's the first thing we're doing when we get back to a tavern. And I swear, Sovemil better... I hope he remembers that. Because it's been... it's gotta be at least 4 sessions in this dungeon now. So we're all gonna need like a mountain of bacon to get through. Or at least to feel like we did something. I'm gonna keep moving on past that one. And go to the last line where Mike says, wait till he finds out about double bacon. So I imagine he meant to say that as Gemma. So let's bring up Gemma. She's one of my more favorites. I personally like to draw girls more. I think it's just because I don't have the guy's male figure shape down as well. I've just practiced the female a bit more, at least for like the face and stuff. It's a lot cuter too, which is kind of up my alley. If you haven't noticed. So we have Gemma smirking. So she says, wait till he finds out about the bacon. So let's give her a smirk. Actually, before I get too far, I think I have one of her smirking. That's not a smirk. Come on, Gemma, give me a smirk. Okay, we do have one of her kind of smirking here. We'll just, let's redo that a little bit for this last scene. Wait till he finds out about bacon. So we'll lower the eyebrows a little bit. Eyes will stay pretty much the same. I wonder if we should make her like super happy about this. I think that's too happy. I don't think Gemma would be like too happy about it. She's like, you know, she thinks it's funny. So maybe we'll have her kind of like, yeah, more of a flatter smile. There we go. I think that works. We'll go with this for now, and then, I mean, we can always come back and change it, right? That's honestly the best thing about working on, like, working digitally, working on an iPad. It just makes it so much easier. I know a lot of people like pen and pencil, and I totally respect that. I've just kind of outgrown it. So we're going to move into outlining now. So basically what I do for that is I make another layer above the sketch. So here's the sketch layer, if you can, it's showing, yeah, it's showing. And then I make a layer for the outline on top of it. If you wanted to get fancy, or like more organized, which is probably a good thing, you can go and like relabel each layer to whatever you want to name it. I don't do that because I'm lazy. But here's a neat trick. So if you guys want to try Procreate and you want to take away anything from this stream, if you're trying to learn for whatever reason, like that's cool. I'm happy to share what I know. Under your brush library, you select whatever brush you want. I typically like to use the technical pen. I feel like it gives the right feel that I need for outlines. But what I really want to show is that you can select whatever type of brush you want. And then what you do is you select it again. And then you go into stabilization and you crank out the amount to 100%. So you max it out. Max out the streamline. And let me show you what that does. That is going to make your life so much easier for outlining and just making straight lines. So let me give an example. Here we go. Do you kind of see how it's making those curves perfect? Now if I were to turn that off, let's take it down to 0% and then go back and do the same thing. It's not, you could see how jittery it is compared to the one on the right. So when you're doing outlines, I totally recommend this. This was a game changer for me. I had stopped using my iPad because I couldn't get the lines perfect like how I do on paper. So this is without the stabilization. It just, once in a while it looks fine. But then sometimes it's just not perfect. Like you see that right there. The lines just don't look nice. That's initially why I really liked vector artwork instead, because you can get the lines like perfectly rounded and shaped, exactly how you wanted it. So let me turn on stabilization again. I'm gonna erase this line. And let's start outlining. And you'll see how easy it is to get like a smooth shape. I can even draw the circle and it looks pretty nice. That I could not do with my freehand. All right, let's get into drawing Sovemil. Honestly, this is kind of the easier part of drawing. Typically when I do this, I'll like pop a squat in front of a TV. And it's just kind of like a mindless, easy to do thing because you've done all the work. Like the sketch work is all there. So yeah, if you're gonna be drawing, just kind of keep in mind in your process, like the sketching is probably gonna be a lot more heads down, trying to figure out the shape correctly and whatnot. I mean, and if you're better at drawing and that's easier for you, like maybe not, but for me, sketching is heads down and then outlining it's kind of more mindless work because you're just kind of tracing over what you already have. I don't think I enjoy one part more than the other, but I do like that outlining can be done without having to like give your full attention to something. Ooh, that eyebrow looked a little off. I do like to give thicker eyebrows to people. That's kind of like my design style. Like if I were to say what my design style would be, at least for a face, I've kind of got it down. It's kind of like the face can be whatever. I like chunky little ears. I like thick eyebrows. And then the eye I'm still kind of working out. I mean, that could be whatever. And then I like kind of like the softer shapes on mouths and hands and whatnot. But, ooh, that looks bad. But getting a style down is so difficult. I follow a lot of people on Instagram, and they do a really good job at keeping their style consistent. Like, I feel like they have a good job. They really know what they're doing, and they have it down. But I've been trying for years, and it's not easy unless you come across something that you really like and you decide to stay consistent with it. I feel like it's easy to flip-flop your style around a lot. And I mean, that's, if you're not trying to like monetize what you're doing, that's totally okay. Like, draw whatever you're feeling at the moment. Alright, we got his hairline. For this, I just kind of cheat and just, if there's no like bangs or anything, I just kind of do a little squiggly line to kind of emphasize that there's hair going this way. And I mean, we have the detail up here, so I feel like that's fine. We're keeping it. It's good. Sovemil's hair is slicked back, so it kind of ends slicked back, and then he kind of comes out just a little bit at the ends. So we'll keep that. Oops. Sometimes I accidentally make marks on the iPad or the screen. And I've seen other people, they wear like gloves so that they don't accidentally do that with their hand. I've been thinking about getting a glove. Maybe I will. Maybe if we do more of these doodle streams, I will. So if you're enjoying it, be sure to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. I will not lie though, this is a little bit hard drawing at this angle. I tend to like rotate around my screen back and forth just to get the perfect angle to draw at. But I'll keep it straight so I'm not like making you guys dizzy. Alright. I'm drawing Sovemil's little detailed barrette. Barrette? Is barrette the right word? No. It's like a brooch. Brooch is the right word. It has like sea snails on it and a seashell. I mean, he is a sea elf, so that makes sense. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like he's some kind of royalty. I feel it in my bones. I feel like he's gonna hit us with a big story soon. All we know about Sovemil at this point in the story in our D&D campaign is that he's heading to the Kingdom of Corir to find some kind of relic that is from his peoples, his sea elf peoples. I don't think anyone's really asked him about what the relic does, or if he knows what it does himself. So I guess we'll see as the story progresses. But he's a pretty interesting character. That's why I chose this in particular, was because he's never tried land meat, so like chicken and beef and whatnot. He's only really tried fish and like seafood and stuff. I think Wes, who plays his character, he said earlier that he was a pescatarian. So I imagine coming to land and having to try all these new foods because he didn't have really a choice was a whole thing. He did like the potatoes, the spicy potatoes that we tried at one point. I don't remember where we had it at, but we had it at some point. Let's see. He has some little details. So this is another fun Procreate thing. Like, let's say I wanted to make a curve like that. If you hold it in place once you get to the end of the line, it'll straighten out the curve for you. So you can see arc created. It says it right there at the top. So that's an easy way to make these kind of curves. It won't do it unless there's a very obvious curve happening. So if I were to like slightly go like this, I don't know why. It's hard to show it when I want to show it. Okay, maybe not. It'll also do it for a straight line. So you could see like that was kind of bent. That's kind of the idea I was kind of trying to show. If the thing that you're drawing mostly looks like a line, then it's going to draw like a straight line for you. So that's pretty awesome. All right. Let's look at the rest of his details in here. And what I'll probably do is I'll take this like baseline visual for Sovemil and I'm going to put it in and use it for the other facial expressions that he has. And then just kind of like erase over. I'll show you guys that here in a second once I get to it. That way I could save time because these scenes aren't going to be showing on screen for too long. So that's good. Okay. Ooh. On this arm here, he's kind of wearing like this interesting fish scale mail. If I wanted to really get detailed with it, I would like kind of do this kind of number, like show the... maybe it's not too much like a fish netting, but something along those lines. Actually, that kind of looks nice. I'm going to leave it there. It's a happy little mistake. So Bob Ross reference. For I'm sure everybody probably knew that. Alright, there's his glove. Let's draw, there's the body. He does have a slim body. We've been making a lot of jokes that he's like a really good looking guy. I think if you look at his actual artwork while we're playing the game, it's because he has like a really chiseled chin. Along with us telling him to take off his shirt, we've also been telling him to take some of the hits for us. Technically, I don't know if we would consider him an NPC, but that's kind of why we've been asking him to do some of these things for us. Like jumping into the room first and seeing if it's safe. But I don't think of him as an NPC. I mean, I know it's a lot for Wes to probably handle, having to play a whole other character in addition to like DMing everything. So hopefully it's not too bad for him. But I think of Sovemil as a part of our group. I think he is an OG character. Even though he tried to leave us earlier at some point. He really had to, as part of his storyline, he really had to go to the Kingdom of Korir as like soon as possible. So I think we kind of like left town just to make sure that we could do what he needed to do, and also make sure we didn't lose Sovemil, because that would have been bad. He's our cleric, but also like a critical member of our party. At least that's what I think. And that's also what Willa thinks. Willa, to give some insight to her, she feels like this, she's pretty happy with the group she has now. She's always been looking for adventure, and she kind of found like the catalyst, which was like the trying to remember if I've shared this. I won't go into too much detail, just to make sure I'm not sharing like backstory I haven't already shared in the game itself. But she's found the catalyst for what she needed to start going on adventures. And because of that, she's met this nice group of people, and she's really happy to kind of have like her first set of friends. She didn't go out much growing up, so it's nice that she gets to meet people. And she's really attached to everyone on the team. Whoa, he has some hips. Let's take it in. Let's take it in a notch. But yeah, I think Willa at this point would die for any of them. Like she would lay down her life pretty quickly to save any of them. Especially Gemma. Her and Gemma have had like a pretty strong connection from the start. I think it's like kind of like a camaraderie in both of them being farmers, and also both of them being girls, and both of them being on their first adventure for the very first time. There's kind of a lot to bond over there. So, yeah, that's happened. I think it's pretty great. I think Mike, who plays Gemma, has played it out really well. Alright, we have Sovemil. Let's see, maybe I'll go into some shading so we don't have too much time left. I'm going to try shading out a little bit of this. And bear with me, this is kind of my first time doing something like this. What I'm going to try and do is lower the opacity. Let's get rid of the stabilization. Actually, let's change to a painting brush. Make sure the stabilization isn't on there. Perfect. Go for a slightly bigger brush and then bring down the opacity. So let's start with some basics. He should have a pretty strong... Bring that up a bit. He should have a pretty strong shadow under here. Whoa, it's a little too strong. Make that slightly less stronger. There we go. Cool. Cool. Let's do a little bit for his ear there. And then a little bit for his nose. We'll do a little bit of shading in his hair to kind of define it. I feel like he does use some kind of mousse or gel. Maybe I'll have Willa ask him in the next episode, which I believe is next Wednesday, by the way. So if you have time, if you're looking for something to do, you should join us. How does that look? Okay, I don't really like that. There we go. So my idea is that I'm going to keep a lot of this kind of just black and white. That makes it a little bit easier on me, and that also makes sure that we can get this out a little bit quicker. Because I do have other projects that I'm working on, so I want to get this to a good enough quality where it's enjoyable, and then move on to the next project. For the pauldron here, this is made out of metal, I believe. So let's give it a little bit of a shape. It's very circular, very spherical. Is that a word? It's very spherical. There. I'll do some erasing there. Just some crude shading. Do some for the other side too. So I did a bit like that. Let's get the bottom. And then erase. Perfect. I've always wanted to make my own cosplay and like make these kinds of armor, like the armor you see in D&D and all those sorts of like games and whatnot. I've looked into a bunch of tutorials on it, and it looks easy, like shaping the Warbler, like I think you have to get like a foil, and then you put like tape around it. You make it the shape that you want it to be. So if you were to like make horns, you do that. You cut it out, and then you cut it onto the Warbler, and then you just kind of blow dry the Warbler together. At least that's what I've gotten from watching these quick videos. And then it's pretty simple from there. That's probably minimizing the amount of work that there is behind it. But if it's just that, or if that's the process, I feel like I could do it, and I would love to cosplay a character someday. I think that Willow would probably be a good character to cosplay. I don't know how. I tried to do it in our Halloween episode to cosplay Willow really well. It didn't turn out that well. I got like the purple coloring. That was easy. But I had also bought some like scales that go onto your skin. And that didn't turn out that well. It was not that easy. And I only had like 30 minutes to try and put it on because I did not give myself ample enough time. So that was my fault. I don't think it looked too bad on stream because luckily the quality of the video is not that high when you're looking at that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's good. But yeah, it was okay. At the end of the day, it turned out okay. And I think if I had more time, that I can make something even better. Alright, let's move on. So I feel like that's good. We got enough shading in there to kind of define his features enough. So the next one we have is him kind of like, he'd be like, over here you go. He has his arm out. Dozo. Let's duplicate this and work from that so that we're not doing too much work. So I'm going to delete the portions that don't match up with this overlay in blue, and then work from there, and then redraw the new pieces. But going back to the cosplay discussion or talk, my speech, going back to my cosplay speech, I think it would be really cool to cosplay with this whole team. I get that cosplay is not cheap. It's pretty pricey. I get that like not all of us can do it. But I think that would be really neat to see everyone in like a full outfit. That would be so cool. I'm going to drag this down so it's not overlaying the outline itself like it shouldn't be. There we go. Let's bring that back up to max. The only thing with this stabilization, oh, it's on there. So sometimes if you take it off, you have to put it back on. So you have to go back and forth. So if you're going to turn on stabilization and use it, it's best to like get all of the sketching or whatever needs you have without stabilization out of the way. Because then it will just be a lot easier for you. So you don't have to go back and forth. Let's match this line thickness. That looks good. All right. Let me have a little drink real quick. If you've caught our streams, you've probably seen this couple times. We used to do IRL in real life. Yeah, we used to do IRL campaigns, D&D campaigns a long time ago, and we got a couple of these for like the whole crew. So I think that Wes has one. I'm not sure who else has one, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty fun. It gets you into the mood to play D&D, which is good. All right, so we are drawing Sovemil's pauldron. And like I said, he's kind of like stretching out his arm at this point to say like, here you go, like, here's the bacon, or surprise, here's the bacon. And the bacon is behind him, sitting on a stump. Was totally about to say, we used to do IRL streams. Yeah, back in the days, in the before times. when we all used to actually meet. And actually, some people still do meet, but I know, without getting into too much detail, some of us like moved and whatnot. So, yeah, it makes it more difficult to meet up. But I'm happy that we have like the streaming. I'm happy that we have Tales of Terramir streaming, because it's kind of, I like D&D because it's an excuse to get together with your friends. Not that you need an excuse, but sometimes it's easy to like have an agenda, you know? It's like, oh, like I'm not going to skip out on this because, you know, I'm going to let people down, or we have a plan, you know, that kind of stuff. I find when you meet new people, it's always easier to hang out with people when you're like doing something together. Sometimes just sitting in a circle talking is a little bit daunting. All right, drawing his fingies. So in this case, these are very just generic. Ooh, that's too straight of a line. Just very generic fingers. Look at that, some little detail there. Oop. There. That's good. That's good enough. Let's get his detailing on his upper armor, lower armor. It ends right there. Perfect. And since I drew some detail here on his left side, I'm going to draw it on the right side too. Wait. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oops. There we go. So even though it doesn't follow the contour of his arm, it still looks okay because it's kind of like a generic fishnetting design. At least I think so. Let's draw in his eyes. There we go. And his mouth. All right. That's good. There we go. Sovemil's second pose. Let's get the shading duplicated for this one. And let's shade it in. But, yeah, speaking of IRL stuff, I have watched, Critical Role, like their newest season, here and there. And I got inspired by how they do things. They get really into the story, which I like. That's kind of like my jam is like the story part of D&D. I think when you get into something like that, it just makes it a little bit more fun, right? When you like play your character, that gives it a little bit more life. Or else you could play it however you want, but once people do get into their characters, it gives it a little bit more of an interesting aspect to it, or else it's just like rolling dice, which is cool. I appreciate the stories made in D&D, but I'm mainly here for the butt jokes. What? I'm trying to think. Do I have a butt joke? I don't have a butt joke on hand. I don't have a butt joke that I can pull out of my butt. Ha! How's that? Does that count as a joke? I feel like that's a joke. Or a pun? Maybe. I'm not very great at jokes. I did learn a joke the other day though. Since we're talking about jokes. How did it go? It was 7 out of 10 is a good joke. Okay, I'll take it. All right. I have a joke. Let's go to full face for this joke. All right. So the joke is, I'm remembering it. Hold on. So the joke is, what did Mario say to Peach when he broke up with her? He said, "It's not you, it's a me, Mario." Okay, let's go back. I heard that joke on like TikTok or something. 1 out of 10? Get out of here. Get out of here. That was easily a 12 out of 10 joke. I heard that on TikTok or something. It was like one of those videos where you have to take a shot if you make the other person drink. And I was like on the ground laughing. Literally. It was a pretty good joke. But I don't have like jokes up my sleeve. I giggled. Okay, thank you, Wes. Thank you. I feel like it's a pretty good joke. I only had that joke on me because I just heard it recently, but I don't remember jokes. Like I can't come to a party and like have a joke on hand that, unless I've like practiced beforehand. So if I ever show up and I have a joke, like a pretty good joke, odds are like 1, I didn't make it, and then 2, I probably prepared to deliver that joke before we met. Being a comedian must be really difficult. I can't imagine. Oh shoot. Ha. We don't have stabilization on, or we don't have the right brush. There it is. I want to go a little bit thicker for the background. Okay. I mean, it's never about a deliberate joke, and more about an observational comedy or wordplay. In games, at least. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at... I guess, yeah, like sarcastic jokes during a conversation can happen. Outside of that, like a knock knock, who's there, that type of joke, I don't remember those that well. Willa-isms. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. The Willa-isms are a lot of fun. I usually, for the most part, and I'll be honest, for the most part, I kind of think it up like as we're going. But there's other times where like maybe like the day before I thought of something and I'm like, man, this would be really funny to say, or I think it would be funny to say, and so I kind of like write it down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find a good time to say this joke. Pa always said never sleep with your cousins. Yes. I think I delivered that a little bit incorrectly from what I had in my head at the time, but it made it come out just fine. I think it made it come out even funnier. So that worked out. That was a lot of fun. I don't think Willa has made a Willa-ism ma and pa joke in a while. Oh, she made a potty joke. She made a potty joke the other day. That was incorrect, right? Yeah, it came out funnier. It worked out. Yeah, I think the Willa jokes kind of come out naturally because she's just kind of she doesn't know the world that well, so it's a little bit easy to say what she might be thinking because of that. Loved it the other day when Mike referred to his character as well. I lost my shit. Yeah, I heard you laughing and I had to like And for anyone who's wondering how I could hear him laughing, so we have like a setup where we can hear Zach and Charlie, who are our what do we call them? What do we call your positions? Producers? I think it's producers. We can hear them just in case we need to like discuss something or something technical or whatever. And yeah, I totally heard you, Zach, and I had to like stop myself from laughing because it doesn't make sense because no one else can hear you. I just sound like a crazy lady laughing for no reason. Audio Gremlins. That's pretty good. If we get merch, we should get a shirt that says Audio Gremlins for the producers. You can do like an Audio Gremlin 1, Audio Gremlin 2 shirt. Kind of like a thing 1, thing 2. That would be pretty funny. Alright, I'm drawing the background now for all of the scenes, which is going to be one solid background. They're kind of in the forest, kind of in the city. I believe it's this. They're in the ruins of Yel Kunal, which is a old elvish city. So since this is kind of more like a fun little doodle, I like to throw in the little circles in between here and there. They're just gonna, to me, represent like more of a relaxed, cartoony vibe, if you will. There we go. And then again, this bottom part that's whatever. Let's color this. Since there isn't too much color, let's add some color. It's gonna be fun. Could flip it horizontally for the characters looking left-right to make it feel like a bit different between solo scenes. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so flip this like so. So it looks a little different. Yeah, we could totally do that. And I like that idea. And we could even like zoom in a bit. If I want to just like zoom in on the face. If I have any like that. That might actually work well for the Sovemil bacon crying face. It looks ridiculous. There we go. All right, let's add some color. Colors for the most part. For something like this, I wanted to keep it a little bit soft, or not quite pastel, but just something that's not going to take your attention away from the character itself. So I'll probably go pretty light with this. So what I end up doing is outlining the area that I want the color to be. And then I'll just drag and drop the color in, and then it'll fill it in for me. So that's nice. Let's try to do this quickly so we're not zoomed in the entire time. If muted in reference to the PG. Yeah, muted is a good word for it too. I think pastel kind of makes it sound a little bit more well, there's another word I can't figure out. Maybe like more warm in color or like a certain style, but muted is a good way to describe it more neutrally. All right. Okay, so I'll show you guys what I was talking about. So we have that outline in green, then if I drop it down here, boom, it just fills it all out. So it makes it pretty easy. You just kind of have to think about which colors you want beforehand, and then if you want to change colors on top of colors, so if I wanted to do like a blue circle here, it doesn't really work well with that kind of stuff. You could see the edges. So you still have to go in and add some details, but it's not too bad. For everything else, I'm going to play off of this green color here. We'll go with lighter colors for the bushes in the background. Since they're further away, you don't see it as well. I think there's like something to do with there with like fog, or not fog, but like the distance makes it a little bit less discerning or discernible. So let's do that for this color. And I usually do like a darker color too for things in the background. But we'll play around. There we go. Get through this a little bit quickly. Okay. I kind of wonder what people in other streams, what other like people in streams who do art typically talk about. Since this is my first time, it's not really like a set thing to talk about. And I was talking about earlier how it's easy to meet people when you have like something to do together. In my opinion, it makes it a little bit less awkward, and maybe that's just my social anxiety talking. But yeah, I wonder what other streamers talk about when they do these sorts of things. I almost considered like coming to this with like a with like a list of topics ready to talk about and just kind of going through them. But that would probably be a little bit strange, wouldn't it? Maybe I'll watch some other Doodle streams and get some inspiration. I don't know if we will do this again. I mean, I've been enjoying it, so I wouldn't mind doing it. But we'll have to see. I think Wes is going to be playing a game in the next coming weeks. A game of... I don't remember what kind of game. I think it has to deal with D&D in some way. Okay, wow, choosing this color is getting really difficult. Let's go there. Yeah, that's fine. But I wonder what sort of games people who watch our stream are interested in. So then that would be like a good talking point. Maybe we'll make, just spitballing. We can make like a poll on our Discord and see what kind of games everyone's interested in outside of D&D. We might be surprised by that. Who knows? Oh no, our stump. Okay, hold on. I got you, stump. Let's cover it. There we go. Okay, that looks decent. Now we'll do our stump. Let's test this color. Magic the Gathering, D&D adjacent card game. Okay, yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, that'll be neat. I'm excited to see. I haven't seen the like virtual game before, so I'm excited to see what that looks like. I'll definitely be joining in. I've played Magic the Gathering a handful of times. Alan and I have bought like a starter pack of a box before, and it has like the sets for all the Magic the Gathering things that you need. I won't pretend like I'm an expert at it at all. I have to relearn it every time I play it, but I think I get the general gist of it. But I wonder if the digital game is more fun, or at least easier, because you don't have to like think about all the rules. It just kind of does the rules for you. I've thought about getting the Strixhaven cards for Magic the Gathering because I've seen those on sale before. But But I feel like a poser if I buy them, because I'm not a big Magic the Gathering player. I just wanted to have them because we have a campaign, like a private campaign we play with our friends, not the campaign that Tales of Terramir does, obviously. But we have a campaign going where we're playing Strixhaven, and it's been a lot of fun. It's we have like the right characters, the right character attributes per person. Everyone's just like slightly different. We got like the jock, we got the smart person, we got the what else do we have? It's basically the Breakfast Club. Yeah, there you go. I say that, but like I also haven't watched The Breakfast Club in a long time either, so I don't really 100% remember it. I need to go watch it before our next Strixhaven game. I played Dot, who is I think they're called an Owlkin. An Owlkin female. She's obviously like in her college ages, so like 20, 21-ish. And she's very much just like anything goes, just very chill, very relaxed, and really into like magic gems and whatnot. And she's an artificer. I don't know. They both sound right to me. However you want to say it. She is that. And yeah, she's been a very fun character to play because she has like a boyfriend and she doesn't really care about school. She honestly would rather not be there, but she has like nothing else better to do, and her parents kind of forced her to be there. She has a fun little robot companion named Peppy Polly. She's very cute. She's like a little owl on wheels. And yeah, it's been a fun game. We've had one of our characters, Rob, who plays Razik in Tales of Terramir. He plays a character named Sigil, and the entire first season, if you will, of Strixhaven, or I guess our first year at Strixhaven, he was dating a vampire girl, which brought about a lot of interesting jokes between the party, mostly based on the fact that she was like sucking the blood out of him. And just kind of using him as a blood bank. So, poor guy. In the end, so in year 2, they haven't really been doing that hot. And yeah, hopefully he finds a new love interest, because she was not healthy for him. Sorry, like Strixhaven drama gossip. If you ask me, Sigil could do better. Well, if you ask me, Sigil should focus on school and just living his life, because he gets like his character seems to get very what is the word? Girl interested, girl heavy. I'm not finding the right word here. But he like falls head over heels. Yeah. So hopefully he gets sorted. He's a simp. Yeah, that's a way to put it. Yeah. We'll not sugarcoat it. Yeah, he's a bit of a simp for the vampire girl. Girl crazy. Yeah, that's nicer. I don't really know Sigil's background. I don't know if like he grew up in like an all-boys school or why he's like that. Maybe it's just a college thing. But I'd be interested to hear what Rob has to say about Sigil's background. We've RP'd some of it in our Discord chat. which has been really nice. It's interesting to hear like more about everyone's story if they're like willing to share it. It kind of gives like more in-depth perspective into what everyone's thinking and why they do things. All right, I have this layer that has the outline for this background alpha locked. So that allows me to just kind of draw on the layer. Just draw with what's already there. And I'm gonna get rid of that black outline because it's a little bit too harsh and I don't want everyone's eyes to be focused on that since it's just a background. I want everyone's eyes to be focused on the character. So let's do that. There we go. I think that's light enough. I'm gonna add in some grass. Let's get some grass in there. Let's go back to the tech. I think it's just Rob. Oh no. I actually haven't spoken with Rob too much outside of our games, so I don't know him. I feel like I know him as his character very well, and I've heard that he's very similar to his characters in real life, but we haven't really chatted outside of that, so maybe we should everyone should get together and do something non-D&D related so we can get to know each other. I don't know. Is that weird? Should we just stick as D&D friends and call it a day? We do like a Jackbox or something. Because I would hate to think that people who have only seen me as Willa or as Dot or whatever other character I play that have like really different personalities from me, to think that I'm like that. Rob and I and some other do games together. You're more than welcome to join us. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'd be down for that. As long as they're not scary games. I don't do scary games. I can't with horror. Last we were playing Sons of the Forest, but we've all kind of fallen off of it. I think I've seen Sons of the Forest. Is that the one where you can make everyone's head really big? Like, I like to do a lot of YouTube gameplay just because I get really frustrated if I can't move forward in a game, and then I'll drop off of it. Like, I won't give it a second thought. I haven't finished many games in my life, actually, because of that. I've finished Final Fantasy X, Harvest Moon Back to Nature, and I finished Stray. I don't know what other games I've actually like finished beginning to end. Yep, LOL. Kel's kind of the same thing. Okay, yeah, so she knows. She's got the same vibe as me. I don't want a game that's too hard. I like the story part of it, so that's why I watch the stuff on YouTube. And yeah. If there's too much involved, like if it's too much of a challenge, I'll just give up. That's why I actually don't play too many puzzle games either, because they're too difficult. How does that look? I'm looking at the stream now, and it seems like the color is a little bit washed out from what I have here. That's okay. I think you get the general idea. Kel's got to the first hard part of Stray, got frustrated and turned off the game. Oh, yo, I totally understand where she's coming from. I got to the first part of the game, not to give too many spoilers if you haven't played it, but the first part of the game is actually more difficult to me, in my opinion, than the second half of the game. Because there's a lot of like running around and trying not to die. So there were definitely a couple of times where I would hand the the Steam Deck to Alan and made him play those parts. And then I would move on. I think that's the only way that I really finished it, or else I would rage quit. Yeah. Yeah, I too have rage quit games, yeah. I feel like games need more of like the options for like easy and like super easy and then easy and then normal and then hard. Like give me the super easy option where I'm just kind of reliving the story. And I just kind of make it feel like I'm winning even though I'm not doing too much. Specific part was that elevator bit with little enemy guys trying to turn on the satellite. Oh, the elevator. I don't remember that for some reason. Oh, no, wait. I think I do. It's like on one of the lower levels, maybe? Like in the whole area. The best games have an easy story mode. Yeah, for real. I can't... If it's on hard or like even just a normal mode, like at that point it's not too much about the story in my opinion. You're like trying to win like a fighting game or something after the first city area. Okay, I got you. I think I know what part that was. True. Yeah, I don't have time for hard mode either. Like I want to play it. I want to enjoy a game. And I got like the weekend, like some of the weekend, because some of that's dedicated to like laundry and whatnot. And then I got like maybe 2 hours after work outside of like making dinner and then washing dishes and then, you know, all that stuff. At the end of the day, you don't have that much time, do you? It's pretty crazy. All right. I think we're gonna outline this one and then maybe call it a night. So let's do bacon on a stump. I think that's why I had been playing Minecraft lately with a couple people here. Minecraft Dungeons. And I liked that because you didn't have to sit down and finish it. Like it was like little chunks of story or little chunks of dungeon crawling. And then you could like put it down and go back. I think that's why mobile games are so popular, because like you could literally pick it up for 5 minutes and then not touch it again for a couple of days, and you know, you still you don't have to dedicate that much time to enjoy it. I feel like they used to call those like mom games because of that, because like moms would play it often. Bacon on a stump sounds like some kind of southern delicacy. Oh my goodness. I like that. Oh man, Willa should have said something like that. What? Why is this? Let's try this again. There we go. Willa should have mentioned something like that. I think once we get out of this dungeon, she's gonna say, hey Savi, you wanna try some bacon on a stump? And see what he thinks about it. Well, apparently after we get out of here, we're gonna try a lot of different bacon types. According to this conversation that happened, so. Is this the general look of bacon? It's just like a long strip, right? These look like baguettes for some reason. Looks like bacon. Crinkly, more wavy. Oh, yes. Crinkly edges, hard corners. Yes. You guys are right. Oh my goodness. I've been drawing French fry bacons. Alright, let's do this again. Well, then I wonder, like, in Tales of Terramir world, is bacon... What does bacon look like? Like, was bacon back in medieval days wavy like so? crinkly edges. Thick cut. Was it basic? When does pork become bacon? And like when is it not just like ham? Like a thick cut of ham. It has to be processed, right? Probably more like fat back. Protein in the meat denatures as you cook it, so it shrinks. Different cuts of meat. Oh, so bacon comes from a certain part of a pig's body? I thought it had to be processed or something like that. This looks weird. Hey. Pig abs. Huh, okay. That's interesting. I never knew it came from pig abs. It's classically salt cured. Okay, I thought it was we're making bacon sound unappetizing. Right? Come have a stump of pig abs. Yeah, all meat is unappetizing when you break it down. I try not to think about it too much. I know that's kind of like, I feel like that's not like, you should be okay with knowing that your meat is coming from a living thing. But yeah, I try not to think about it. Candied bacon. Yum. Is that just bacon with like honey or maple syrup on it? I think I've heard of that before. I can't wait to get home and have a slice of cow butt. That's how we should say it. That's how we should say it from now on. Look at this tasty cow butt. It's been smoking for 12 hours. Doesn't sound nearly as appealing. Same here. Try the $1 million bacon at first watch. Yes! $1 million bacon at first watch is really good. First watch in general is pretty good in my opinion. Dark brown sugar. Ah, okay. I knew it had to do like some kind of sugar or honey or something. Pork butt is a thing. Isn't shredded pork butt a thing? Isn't that the thing that's usually a thing? Oops. Need less processed sugar. First watch is solid. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little pricey. You have to like really want it, I think. Go get some bacon, Skips. I've been buying the this might sound gross. I don't know how people feel about it. The microwavable bacon, like the bacon that's already cooked that you just kind of like can leave in your pantry. Just because it's so much easier to pull out really quick and have some bacon on like a sandwich or something. How do people feel about that? Yeah, you have plenty of time to get some food. And go to Taco Bell, get a Baja Blast, and then go to the grocery store and grab some bacon. Doing it in the oven is easy. Oh, like bacon. That's true. But it takes, you gotta plan that out, right? You gotta like turn the oven on. And then like 10 hours later, it's ready to, to cook something. I get pre-cooked bacon because you can just microwave it, but I keep it in the fridge. Oh, I thought you can keep it in the pantry. I'm pretty sure I found it in the in like the non-cold, non-frozen section, like just on a shelf randomly somewhere. And I've had a friend who does it too. So I don't think it has to be refrigerated. So there's a hot tip for you. You don't have to refrigerate your pre-cooked bacon anymore. Unless you have some kind of other sort of pre-cooked bacon that I don't know about. What was he doing? Let's cover these bushes. I've gotten that before now that I think about it. Okay, yeah. It comes in, the one that I get comes in just like a cardboard box. Really. That stuff is good camping food. Oh, that's a good point. I've never had it for camping before. But that would make it really easy because it's always difficult to get rid of that grease. Unless you're gonna like use the grease to cook like eggs or something. Which tastes really good. I love cooking eggs in bacon grease. It's like the best thing. And pancakes too. It's good stuff. Stuff I currently get is in the refrigerated area at Costco. Huh. Taking meat camp. I feel like a traveler. I don't think I've seen the bacon at Costco. I haven't really looked at Costco for bacon before. I'm gonna have to try that next time. That sounds good. And it's probably like, I'm guessing it's like a huge pack for like a good deal too. I'm always wary of taking meat camping. Yeah. I haven't been tent camping in a while, but yeah, I don't know that I've brought meat camping like that. Or I have, and there weren't any bears in the area, or at least that I was aware of. So. Eggs and bacon grease, yeah, that's good. Yeah, and it's a great way to clean the plant. And you're also like saving money, right? You're not like spending money on using olive oil or whatever. Remember later, and I'll send you a pic of the bacon for your awareness or whatever. Yeah, let me know. We try to go to Costco on Friday nights usually. But we went. I messed up because I'm recounting this awkward thing that happened at Costco this past weekend. We went to Costco on a Sunday afternoon, like an hour before closing, and we thought there would be nobody there. We were very much wrong. There were a lot of people there. And I saw an old co-worker. I won't say his name. Maybe I'll share the name later. I won't say their name. I ran into an old co-worker from my past job. And I was like very much in I don't want to socialize mood. And it was very awkward because I just like walked by him like kind of like this, like hand up, not looking. And it gave me a lot of anxiety. And then like we saw that person once and then we saw them again in like the pizza line. And then we saw them one more time as they like were right next to me getting their soda, and I had a mask on and I was like looking at my phone, very much thinking like don't talk to me, and yeah, it was just very awkward. They ended up not talking to me, and I felt very bad for not saying hi because they're a nice person, and yeah, I feel bad. I'm pretty sure they saw me. I think that's why I felt really strange too about it afterwards. They definitely saw me, and saw that I was trying to not look at them. Yeah. Costco is always packed on the weekend. Yeah, we should have known. Friday night is the time to go. When you think about how much grease would be in the pan after the bacon, you're just eating all of it. I don't know if I want to think about that. I'm putting all that grease into my body when it can like soak through so many paper towels, but it does taste good, doesn't it? I'm the dumb one. JS. I think I knew who that is. No, not JS. Not JS. It's a very nice person. I should have said hi, but it was my anxiety and got the best of me. But we ordered an entire Costco pizza, and I think we ate most of it in the day. In that single day. Just between us two. It's so cheap and so good. I was so tempted to get just like a couple of slices, but I couldn't say no to like a $10 pizza, you know. Is this gonna color? Ah, nice. Anxiety is a bitch. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Makes things really difficult, but at least, you know, I think it's good that to be aware of it. That's like the first step, right? Before, when I didn't know that I had like anxiety, I would always be like, why am I being like this? And then once you realize what it is, you're like, oh, that's why. Ah, that looks like bacon, right? Right? Kind of. The stabilization isn't working enough for me. There we go. Got them strips. Strips on a stump. Let's lower the opacity for this one. Give it some variation. There we go. Cool. Like there. It's bacon. There won't be too many colors in this scene, so I hope that this looks okay. Actually, I'm going to alpha lock this and color the bacon like a dark brown to make it stand out a bit. There we go. Yeah. That looks nice. For like the first 25 years of my life, just like, I'm gonna socialize. Yeah, me too. People would always say like, oh, she's shy. Like, no, I'll speak up when I want to. I just don't want to talk to you. It totally visually sells as bacon. Awesome. Yay. It's the bacon. It's Sovemil's bacon. Bacon looking good. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad it's looking like bacon. This is actually really fun to draw on stream. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. Let's change the background color too, so it's not standing out too much. I think is that good? Yeah, that's fine. The colors don't match from the other scene, but that's fine. I don't think anyone's gonna really notice. Change the stump a little bit here. There we go. All right. So we have Sovemil saying, it's bacon! I don't know why that sounded like Seinfeld. And let's see Sovemil with the bacon. Oh, duh, he's not on the right layer. Well, that's not gonna be easy, is it? Here. I'll bring it up and we can take a look at... So I'll have to fill his color in white a little bit because of all of this. I think that's fine. But you can kind of get an idea of what it'll look like with the bacon behind him. And I think we can give him like an outline too, so he kind of stands out more against the background. As if they're always shy about any amount of alcohol, they're a social butterfly. Yes, yeah. When I started drinking in college, like what? I didn't really drink in high school too much. Actually, I didn't at all. But yeah, when I started drinking eventually in my life, that's when I felt like I could be myself a bit more. For sure. But... there we go. Boom. Yay, there's Sovemil. So I'm only planning on doing his shadows, but maybe I'll add in some color here and there. Because now I'm really interested to see what it would look like with him in color. So, yeah, that looks pretty neat. He will say that, and then he presents the bacon, and then we got close-up bacon scene. I think the only missing thing here is the lines. So let's get that in there. Let me make sure stabilization is on. Yep. Let's get these lines thick. And we're gonna do like yellow. I feel like that. Yeah, that looks good. What am I missing? You just defined me, haha. I mean, I was talking about myself, but specific. What is? Alcohol is my social key. Yeah, I get it. Why that outline? Yeah, the white outline mostly just to stand out from the scene behind it. Because I think if you... I've seen it in a couple places where you can use this white outline, but yeah, mostly the contrast. So if we were to get rid of it... Oops. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. If we were to get rid of it, it makes it a little bit less... or a little bit more difficult to see the contrast sometimes. Like if you look at YouTube videos and you see their static image, like their little clip. I can't remember the word. If you look at their little clip, like before you click on the video, they usually have like a person there, like an actual picture of a person, and sometimes they'll have this exact like outline in white just to kind of highlight them a bit more. Yeah. So I'll keep it for now. Thumbnail. Yes, thank you. I swear sometimes my brain like can't, like it's not always on the tip of my tongue. I can visualize things very easily, but the words just don't come through. This is so fun seeing a scene brought to life visually. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this is gonna look in the end. It'll be fun. I'm hoping that I could do a lot of these too. It does take up quite a bit of time, but if I don't do as much color, which is like the real time hog at the end of the day, then we could probably do quite a bit more of these. So there we have the yellow kind of outlining. Oh shit. This one seems a little off, so I'm going to drag it up here a bit. And you know what? I am going to outline the bacon too. I'm going to outline in the same yellow so it kind of matches the highlight there. It's kind of like when you get like an item in a game. Like it highlights in a color. I could add sparkles if we wanted to stand out more too. So preferably I've had this on another layer, so I don't have to worry about going into the bacon like that, but since it's not set up that way, I'll just kind of try and carefully go around the bacon. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm very much a fan of like, just get the general idea and then add in details if need be. There we go. Bacon. If I have time, I want to animate the lines up here, so they kind of like up here, like fade in. We'll see what we can do with that. All right. Well, I've gotten quite a bit done on this. I'm really excited to get this out into the social media. There, you could see I'm like scrolling through all of the the sketch layers here. It's a little bit daunting, but once I have that all sketched out, most of it will probably be black and white since it's just a little bit easier to do. Then eventually we'll have this on our social Tales of Terramir social media somewhere. So my ideas are, my thought is, if I don't get this done in time, then we can probably do another Doodle stream eventually, and finish this off. Hopefully I get it done before then, but we shall see. Why can't my brain do the simple thing is my whole life? Yes, exactly. Exactly. I've kind of wondered if I should get tested, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of information floating out on the internet now that's like very relatable. So I think that's good. Makes you kind of think about why things are happening in a certain way. But anyways, so we got this scene here. I'm probably going to use a background for most of the characters, which actually kind of makes them pop out a little bit more too, along with the white outline. So I think that works well. I think I'm going to end the stream here. It's getting pretty late. I've gotten quite a bit done, and there we go. If I don't finish this up before maybe our next Doodle stream, if there is another one, then I'll go ahead and we'll continue this one on there. But hopefully I do have it up, so keep an eye out on social media, Instagram, YouTube, the Twitch, or wherever on the internets, to see when this comes out. I'm gonna be definitely really excited when it's done, and then I'll be watching like comments and seeing what people have to say about it. And if everyone likes this, I can keep making more of them. But that's it for tonight. Yeah, we should do more for sure. Thanks, Wes. I guess we will see you all back here next Wednesday. I believe that's our next campaign stream for Tales of Terramir. We're going to continue the dungeon crawl. I think we're in the sand room. So we got to figure that out as a team. Hopefully we figure it out before dying. But that's when we'll see everybody next. So thanks everyone for joining my Doodle stream. I had a lot of fun and I look forward to doing it again. That's it for tonight. Have a good one. Bye.
You